Arsenal. January 2026. Transfer strategy, club context, and the big picture. As the January 2026 transfer window opens, Arsenal find themselves in a position that reflects both how far they have come under Mikel Arteta and how delicate the balance has become between ambition and sustainability. This is no longer an Arsenal side desperately scrambling for quick fixes or short-term solutions. Instead, it is a club firmly established among Europe's elite, competing consistently at the top end of the Premier League and in continental competitions, while also trying to protect a long-term vision built on smart recruitment, tactical coherence, and financial discipline. January 2026 is therefore not about revolution for Arsenal. It is about precision, patience, and control, ensuring that any move made strengthens the project rather than distracts from it. Arsenal's broader context entering this window is crucial to understanding their transfer behavior. Over the last few seasons, the club invested heavily to assemble a squad capable of sustaining title challenges. Those investments brought in players specifically chosen for Arteta's positional play system, technically secure defenders comfortable in build-up, midfielders with tactical intelligence and athletic power, and attackers capable of interchanging positions while maintaining pressing intensity. By January 2026, Arsenal are no longer a work-in-progress side. They are a refined machine, and machines do not require constant replacement of parts, only careful tuning. This reality heavily shapes how the club approaches the winter market. One of the defining factors of Arsenal's January strategy is squad stability. Arteta and the club hierarchy place enormous value on chemistry, rhythm, and continuity, particularly in the middle of a demanding season. January signings by nature arrive mid-cycle, often needing time to adapt to tactical demands, league intensity, and dressing room dynamics. Arsenal's staff are acutely aware that even a highly talented player can disrupt balance if introduced at the wrong moment or for the wrong reasons. As a result, Arsenal's recruitment team prioritizes players who can integrate quickly or serve as reliable depth without demanding immediate structural changes. Financial considerations also play a central role in shaping Arsenal's January 2026 transfer stance. The club has already spent significantly across recent windows, and while ownership remains supportive, there's a clear emphasis on sustainability and compliance with financial regulations. January is rarely a value-driven market. Prices are inflated, selling clubs are reluctant, and desperation often dictates negotiations. Arsenal, however, are not desperate. Their approach is calculated, with a willingness to wait until summer rather than overpay in winter. This does not mean Arsenal are inactive. It means they are selective, constantly monitoring opportunities while resisting pressure from media narratives or fan impatience. Another key layer of Arsenal's January planning lies in injury management and workload distribution. The modern football calendar is unforgiving, and Arsenal's ambitions across multiple competitions place enormous physical and mental demands on the squad. January recruitment is therefore partly reactive, shaped by fitness reports, recovery timelines, and performance data. If injuries accumulate in specific positions, Arsenal are prepared to explore short-term solutions, including loans or versatile players who can cover multiple roles. This pragmatic mindset allows the club to protect its title challenge without compromising long-term squad planning. Mikel Arteta's influence on January business cannot be overstated. Unlike previous eras at Arsenal, where managers sometimes had limited control over recruitment, Arteta is deeply involved in identifying profiles, approving targets, and rejecting names that do not fit his vision. His system demands intelligence, discipline, and adaptability. Talent alone is not enough. Players must understand spacing, pressing triggers, build-up patterns, and defensive responsibilities. This makes Arsenal less likely to pursue opportunity signings unless the player clearly fits the tactical model. January 2026, therefore, becomes an extension of Arteta's coaching philosophy rather than a break from it. The psychological dimension of a January window during a title race also shapes Arsenal's approach. When competing for major honors, the dressing room dynamic is fragile. Bringing in a high-profile signing can raise expectations, alter hierarchies, and unintentionally send messages about trust, or lack thereof, to existing players. Arteta is highly sensitive to this. He consistently emphasizes internal solutions, player development, and collective responsibility. Any January addition must therefore complement, not undermine, the confidence of players already contributing to the campaign. This is one reason Arsenal often favor younger players or rotational options in winter, rather than headline-grabbing superstars. From a strategic perspective, Arsenal view January 2026 as a bridge rather than a destination. The real structural planning is focused on summer 2026, when contracts, age profiles, and market opportunities align more naturally for major moves. January decisions are evaluated not just on immediate impact, but on how they affect summer flexibility. A poorly planned winter signing can block pathways, inflate the wage bill, or complicate future recruitment. Arsenal's leadership is determined to avoid repeating mistakes of the past, where short-term thinking led to long-term stagnation. The role of the academy and internal depth is another defining element of Arsenal's January mindset. Over recent seasons, the club has placed renewed emphasis on youth development, integrating young talents into first-team training and matchday squads. January is often seen as a moment to assess whether these players are ready for increased responsibility or whether loans are needed to accelerate development. This internal review directly influences transfer activity. If Arteta believes a young player can provide cover or competition, external recruitment becomes less urgent. Conversely, if gaps remain too large, Arsenal will explore the market. Arsenal's relationship with agents and selling clubs also influences January outcomes. The club is known to maintain strong communication channels across Europe, enabling them to stay informed about potential availability, even when deals appear unlikely. January 2026. Rumors often reflect this background noise rather than concrete negotiations. Arsenal monitors situations involving contract disputes, managerial changes, or financial pressure at other clubs, ready to act if circumstances shift. This watchful approach allows them to move quickly without appearing reactive. Another important factor is tactical evolution. Arteta continuously refines his system, sometimes adjusting roles mid-season to exploit strengths or cover weaknesses. January recruitment, if it happens, is often aligned with these subtle tactical tweaks. For example, a defender comfortable stepping into midfield or an attacker capable of operating between lines may become more valuable depending on how Arsenal's shape evolves. This tactical foresight separates Arsenal's current recruitment from more opportunistic approaches seen elsewhere. Media narratives around Arsenal's January business often exaggerate urgency or dissatisfaction, but internally the mood is calm and controlled. The club believes its trajectory is positive, its core strong, and its ambitions realistic. January 2026 is not about proving a point to rivals or responding to external pressure. It is about maintaining standards. Arsenal's leadership understands that consistency, clarity, and restraint are often more powerful than dramatic gestures. Fan expectations, however, remain a constant presence. Supporters naturally crave signings, especially during tight title races, and social media amplifies rumors into perceived necessities. Arsenal are aware of this dynamic, but do not allow it to dictate strategy. Communication from Arteta and club officials often emphasizes trust in the squad, reinforcing the idea that success is built internally as much as externally. January signings, if they come, are framed as enhancements rather than rescues. In summary, Arsenal's January 2026 transfer strategy is defined by maturity. This is a club that understands its identity, respects its processes, and refuses to be rushed into decisions that do not align with its long-term vision. Every potential move is filtered through tactical fit, financial sense, squad harmony, and future planning. The window is approached not with fear of falling behind, but with confidence in what has already been built. This context sets the foundation for understanding the specific targets, rumors, and debates that dominate discussions around Arsenal's January activity. Current news trends, title race dynamics, and league winners' outlook. As January 2026 progresses, the conversation around Arsenal is increasingly shaped by current news trends, rather than pure transfer speculation, with performances on the pitch carrying far greater weight than rumors off it. Arsenal's form in recent weeks has reinforced the belief that this squad is not only capable of challenging for the Premier League title, but is mentally and tactically mature enough to sustain that challenge through the decisive second half of the season. Results, momentum, and resilience have become the dominant themes in the news cycle, and these factors directly influence how Arsenal approach both the transfer window and the remainder of the campaign. One of the strongest trends in current coverage is the emphasis on consistency. Arsenal are being widely discussed as a team that no longer relies on short bursts of form, but instead accumulates points steadily, even when performances are not at their peak. This ability to win tight matches, manage difficult away fixtures, and respond positively to pressure situations has elevated Arsenal's status from contenders to favorites in many discussions. Media narratives increasingly focus on Arsenal's control of matches, their defensive structure, and their improved game management, all of which are critical qualities in title-winning teams. Injury news remains a constant undercurrent in Arsenal-related trends, but the tone has shifted from concern to cautious optimism. While fitness issues inevitably arise during a long season, Arsenal's squad depth and rotation management have limited the impact on results. This has reduced the urgency for major January signings and strengthened Arteta's public stance that the solution often lies within the squad. The ability to cope with injuries without a significant drop in performance is frequently highlighted as a defining characteristic of champions, and Arsenal's handling of these challenges has added credibility to their title credentials. Another major trend-shaping discussion is the comparison between Arsenal and their closest rivals, particularly Manchester City. Current news cycles often frame the title race as a psychological battle as much as a tactical one. Arsenal are portrayed as a team determined to shed the narrative of near misses from previous seasons, while City are discussed as the benchmark that must be surpassed. Every statement from rival managers, every drop point, and every comeback win feeds into a broader storyline of momentum swings. Arsenal's ability to remain composed amid this noise has become a talking point in itself. Beyond Manchester City, wider league trends have also influenced perceptions of potential league winners. The Premier League season has been marked by unpredictability, with traditionally dominant teams dropping points and emerging challengers disrupting expectations. This competitive balance has created an environment where the title may be decided by smaller margins than usual, placing increased value on discipline, squad rotation, and mental strength. Arsenal's current position within this landscape is often described as advantageous, as they appear more stable than many of their rivals during periods of fixture congestion. From a league-wide perspective, discussions around potential winners increasingly highlight Arsenal's tactical evolution. Analysts note how Arteta has refined his system to be more adaptable, allowing Arsenal to control games in different ways, depending on the opponent. This flexibility has become a recurring theme in current analysis, with emphasis on how Arsenal can dominate possession when required or defend compactly and strike efficiently on the counter. Such adaptability is frequently cited as a hallmark of teams that go on to lift the trophy. The psychological dimension of the title race is another dominant trend. Arsenal's body language, leadership on the pitch, and response to setbacks are all being scrutinized more closely than ever. Recent news coverage often praises the team's calmness in high-pressure moments, suggesting a growing belief that Arsenal have crossed a mental threshold. This shift in perception matters, as confidence and belief can influence both performances and refereeing narratives, subtly shaping the course of a season. In parallel, January transfer discussions are increasingly framed through the lens of protecting a title challenge rather than chasing it. Current trends suggest that Arsenal's leadership is focused on maintaining rhythm and avoiding disruption. Any potential departures or loans are viewed primarily as squad management decisions rather than signs of weakness. This measured approach contrasts with the frantic activities seen at some rival clubs and reinforces the image of Arsenal as a side operating with clarity and purpose. When discussions turn to league winners, Arsenal are now consistently mentioned as one of the most likely champions, rather than outsiders. The narrative has shifted toward whether Arsenal can maintain focus and avoid complacency, rather than whether they are good enough. This change in tone reflects broader trends in performance data, results, and eye test analysis, all of which point to a team capable of going the distance. While rivals remain dangerous, Arsenal's current trajectory places them firmly at the center of the title conversation. In conclusion, Part 3 of Arsenal's January 2026 story is defined less by transfer drama and more by competitive reality. Current news trends emphasize form, mentality, and tactical maturity, while league-wide analysis increasingly positions Arsenal as a leading candidate for the Premier League crown. The window itself becomes secondary to the bigger picture, sustaining momentum, managing pressure, and converting promise into silverware. For Arsenal, January 2026 is not just another transfer window. It is a pivotal chapter in a season that could define the club's modern era.